Hello ladies and gentlemen, I am Screen Scene Guru, and tonight I'll be discussing several topics such as 3i Atlas and its update. We have heard from aviloeb. He's been on several of these news channels talking about this Black Swan event, Trojan Horse. Very interesting terms he's using, telling people not to plan their holiday events around the end of December 19th is going to be the day, the event where 3i Atlas is closest to the Earth. So it's very interesting stuff here. I've jotted down some notes to discuss. So getting into it, let's go on to this UFO update with NASA. So 3i Atlas has been going through our solar system. This was going back through June, July, August. Cameras were pointed at it that were out towards Mars when it was doing its pass by Mars. And data has been gathered. There's been some clear HD photographs taken, but unfortunately due to this government shutdown that's happening right now, we're on day 32. That we're not going to get any of the HD photographs. We're not getting any of the express information that we normally are getting out of NASA. It has been abruptly turned into a spy agency by this administration. A lot of things are just going off the rails. But they are saying that the Keck-2, Keck-2 telescope in Hawaii was able to get some actual good evidence out of it. So that's really cool. We did hear a new paper was published back at the beginning of August 2025, that was also referencing data collected from the Hubble telescope. So that's really cool. They talked about it having a tail pointed towards the sun, which is something they'd never recorded before, and I was likening it back then to a shielding that this craft might have had. They are talking about it's emitting a lot of nickel, and also there's no iron. Iron's being retained inside the craft, but there is nickel being excluded. And also phosphorus or some kind of other metal. I'm not exactly sure. Very interesting stuff there. Talk about how they think it's only made up of 4% water, but when it was passing by behind the sun just a few days ago on October 19th, it absorbed a CME, a solar radiation wave that was quite significant. If it was pointed towards the Earth, we would have faced significant power outages, but this thing seemed to have absorbed the CME, and it ejected water to seem to have put out some of it mid-space travel. So that was very interesting behavior observed from that. It was a quite extraordinary event. It's going throughout our solar system despite solar winds that are quite strong. It's moving without ease, or with no ease, between the months of June and July. Radial profile was bright, and they believed it was an asteroid, not a comet, that was traveling into our solar system. Later on, they would go on to say the dust around it would eventually slow and synthesize into a somewhat of a fermitic shell. So that's very interesting as well. Technological scanner was being used. So they are saying it does have a technological signature. So that's very important as well. It could be traveling from the center of our galaxy. A lot of people have referenced the WOW signal. Probes, what's next? It could be traveling to disperse what aviloeb believes it's Black Swan event, or it could be not what we think it is, a mothership with others coming out of it. So October 19th was also a Global Disclosure Day, which a lot of government officials came forward with Grush, and they spoke at a public event doing basically a Q&A in Washington. Experts were gathered to discuss method of getting to the real secrets. And they're also kind of turning on Avi, or not Avi, but they are asking, he's getting quite famous very quickly off this, and they're asking, what is his intent? Where is he going to go with his newfound fame? Also, Luis Elizondo, since his documentary is coming out, Age of Disclosure, certain whistleblowers are now coming out and they're saying his era is done, his phase of disclosure, because his UAPDA, his bills weren't passed. The Republicans really stunted him. They're now saying, who's next? Who we're going to listen to? It's going to be the next face of disclosure. Which it was very interesting to hear Jeremy Corbell and others recently come out to talk about this. On October 2nd, there was a picture taken from NASA actively Black Swan event, discussing, what this craft is. Like I said, December 19th is going to be the closest this craft is to Earth. So that's very interesting that, right before the holiday, it's going to be making its closest rendezvous. Aviloeb is going to be discussing this with Joe Rogan on his podcast in the next few days. And then he's going to be traveling to Washington to discuss this with government officials. So that's really cool. The International Asteroid Association will be looking into 3I Atlas, which is a partner with the UN. They discuss and they track asteroids headed towards the trajectory of Earth, and they alert the governments or the countries that they're most affecting. Usually if it's a big one, they alert the entire Earth, like Independence Day, or like, for instance, Armageddon. The Object 3I Atlas, a lot more data yet to be revealed to the public, of course, depending on how long this government shutdown goes. But yeah, very interesting stuff going on there with disclosure and aliens and everyone wanting the secrets out. We see our president basically making a mockery of the White House right now. This is breaking news. This happened just today. The the East Wing was demolished completely, totally obliterated, even though the president promised that his involvement wouldn't tarnish any histories or foundational things. We know this area of the White House has historically been worked on from many presidents, going as back as far as in 1948, the total reconstruction of Harry Truman's office was done. And then 1962, the Rose Garden, John F. Kennedy worked on it, which was an expansion. And then in 1970, the President's briefing room with Richard Nixon, of course, another expansion. 1975, the swimming pool of Gerald Ford. But now, 2025, the Grand Ballroom is going to be the largest expansion of the East Wing of the White House. And they are really just going ham at just demolishing the roof. They took off the whole front face of the building. Nothing is left from the original. So how they said they were going to preserve the history and everything, all that's gone, to be paved way for a brand new ballroom. So we're witnessing a very harsh new take on American freedoms and our country as a whole. So that's very interesting as well. I know a lot of people are very against this current administration, of course, with the No Kings protests that recently just happened, and the midterms coming up. A lot of Republicans are losing favor in the MAGA supportive group. I tend to not get political on this channel, but I do want to address, this public knowledge of all the worldly events that are happening. But let me know what you guys think about the Three-Eye Atlas data and the news updates we're hearing about from aviloeb and other experts. Do you believe it's a craft? Do you still think it's a comet? Let me think. Is there anything? Oh yeah. If you like the content, be sure to like the page, comment down below what you think. You can follow me on Instagram, Threads, and TikTok at ScreenGuru for future updates and on more channel news. But until next time, guys, I say bye-bye and have a good one. Alrighty. Ciao.